friends, and welcome back to my channel. I am Cher. So today we're going to be doing an interesting video. I think I titled this Battle of the New Release Bronzers. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to call it. It's because I've been looking at a lot of the new release makeup that's out there, trying to decide what I'm going to buy, if I should buy anything. I'm especially looking at Pat McGrath new bronzers that she just dropped, a whole new collection she's got out there, and I was very excited about that. So I kind of wanted to do a first impressions of that, but then I also had my eye on some other ones, and I started noticing these other ones all tended to kind of have bronzers that I was looking at. So I thought, okay, well, let's look at it from the standpoint of Battle of the Bronzers. So we're going to do a first impressions today. We're going to look more in details at these new drops, these new collections, kind of give them a review from online and see what we think, see which ones are maybe the priority, which ones we want to plunk down our money on, and which ones we might not want to plunk down our money on. So if that interests you, make sure you pop that subscribe button, stick around, and we're going to hop right on in. Okay, so let's talk about the main ones that I'm going to be looking at, some new releases. So the first one, like I mentioned, is the Pat McGrath. She has this whole bronze collection. I think it's called the Divine Bronze Collection, and it is dropping March 30th. So right now I'm in the middle of March, so we're talking end of the month. And lots of bronzers in this. There's also a little bit of other things, blush and lip liner, it looks like, and maybe a lipstick. But it's mostly bronzers, so super excited. We've also got MAC that dropped a whole bunch of bronzers as well. I'm a professional makeup artist, so I use a lot of MAC. It's a good product, especially like lip colors and everything. And I was just curious about the bronzers, so I was thinking about checking those out too. Now, another one I am very excited about is Rare Beauty, because she has a new collection that's dropping as well. I think some of it's already dropped a little bit. I'm thinking it's on Sephora right now. Everything's sold out. But she's got an eyeshadow palette, but a couple more shades of bronzer sticks. And then I think a couple more of her cream blushes too, which are like, oh, holy grails. I love the cream blushes. But I really want to check out those new bronze shades too, and the eyeshadow. I don't think I've ever done the eyeshadow. Now I've heard mixed reviews on her eyeshadow. I have heard that her eyeshadows are not as good as, like the Holy Grail, like cream blushes and bronzers. And then she also has the highlights, which I've heard are just everything so pigmented. So I love the Rare Beauty brand in general. So I'd love to try that eyeshadow one though, honestly. But I'm trying to kind of talk about the bronzers especially. And then the last thing I really want to try, this is not as new release, but it's still fairly new, is the Tarte. All of these cream products they have that are pretty new. They've got the Shape Tape Contour, Cream Contour. They just released the Cream Highlight and Cream Blush, I believe. I've been trying to get my hands on these, and they're just like sold out constantly in my shades. So I still haven't nabbed them, but I'm determined to at some point. So those are all the ones that I'm kind of looking at. So we're going to scope them all out. So let's dig in and see what we think. I'm going to start off with some Pat McGrath, and we're going to look at her new collection. It just was announced, like yesterday, and popped up on her website, I think yesterday. So this is still very, very new. Let's scroll down a little. It looks like we have 8 bronzers. And the shade ranges, they're looking pretty good. I think you've got pretty light all the way to some good deeper colors for women of color. So that's one thing I always like to see, is to make sure they have good ranges. Do I think 8 will cover enough bronze shades? Honestly, I think that's a pretty good mix. They're looking pretty warm toned, everything is to me, but with bronzers you usually see warm toned. I mean, you just do. But I do, I work with a lot of very pale, cool toned ladies in my practice. To be honest with you, that is the majority of clients that I get. I think just because I live in the South, I don't know, I tend to use the cool tone shades the most on my clients. Those are the ones that come to me. And so I like to see some bronzers that have almost you know, that really work for those cooler, paler tones. Um, I'm thinking the soft golden bronzer is going to be the best one for those ladies because that one looks the most cool tone. The next one you have, I think that one's called Nude Honey, but that is going to be a little more probably for your neutral tone girls and guys, whoever wants to wear it. I'm not trying to discriminate, but that's going to probably be, you know, it's still like could be a little cool tone, I think. I don't know. Those two shades are looks like it's going to be your lightest. Now, when you get to your women of color, you know, your deeper skin tones, you don't necessarily always want more on the red side, you know, like warm toned, really like red toned shades. You want also to have some that are gonna, you know, you can still have a cool undertone as even a woman of color. So I like to see in your deeper shades that there is something for both kind of like undertones there. So it does look like it will work. Bronze Mahogany, I'm thinking that one is going to be a little more maybe red tone there. And then it might be that your Terracotta is going to be a little more pinky from what I'm gathering. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing swatches where they've given us models and how it looks on different skin tones. So it's harder to tell from just looking at the picture because sometimes you guys online, those pictures look so different from how they are in person. So I do wish that they had swatches. It's looking like you have this quad set you can get. So here's the quad. This is an eyeshadow quad, and that looks beautiful. That looks stunning. It really does give off that Venetian, you know, divine bronze vibe, in my opinion. Looks fantastic. And there, they do have the swatches on different skin tones. It looks like this light one might get lost on folks like me. Like there's different shades that might get lost depending on your skin tone. You know, this deeper shade, that darker one's getting lost. The middle shade, that pink one's getting lost. And us paler folks, that light one, that shimmer, unfortunately, might get lost. But I do love this color story. I think that's beautiful. But that's not quite what I'm looking at. I was mostly looking at the bronzers. I just wanted to point out this quad, but we'll look at the rest of the collection too. These bronzers and the blush as well are priced at $39. I think that is true to Pat McGrath pricing probably, and the quad we're looking at $62. For a Pat McGrath formula, that's what you're gonna pay. I just recently finally got to try Pat McGrath for the first time, and I loved it. And be looking for a video. I am probably going to, now that I've tried it, and possibly if I get some of this collection, I want to bring you a video where we talk about Natasha Denona versus Pat McGrath. I feel like there is this, there's a community of folks who love them but are like one or the other. I've now started finding this out, and I've been watching like, you know, other content and videos about it. So I wanted to kind of test them out side by side for myself and see, what do I think I am? Am I team Natasha Denona or am I team Pat McGrath? So be looking for that. I think that would be a fun video and something I really am curious about now. So anyway, all right, let's talk about, we've also got a blush. There should be a swatch, but I'm not seeing a swatch. Not pulling up for me. Looks like you get all different shades to choose from. Next, we've got the lipstick that's going to be out with this collection. You can see all the different ranges here. Those are all beautiful. They go well with this bronze idea, I think. Lots of pretty pinks, and then up to some reds, it looks like. And you can choose which skin tone. We have the deeper colors as well, so you can get an idea of how it would look. And you can also choose a light skin tone. So again, an idea of how that would look too. So again, I'm seeing a lot of like pinks with a little touch of some, maybe a little neutral and red up there. So next, along with that, we have, looks like lip gloss. The lipstick, by the way, was priced at $39. The lip gloss is going to be priced at $39. So Lots of $39 price points. There's already shades that are sold out, and I think it's because VIPs are able to go ahead and start shopping. So they've probably already like sold out some of these lip shades on everything. Same with the bronzers and cheeks. I was confused about that, but yeah, the VIP folks are already shopping right now. So by the time it gets to us on March 30th, there might not be a lot left, but let me click on the skin tones. So here is medium skin tones to give you an idea. These look very pearlescent. Definitely like some shimmery lip glosses, it looks like. And let's see it on deeper skin tone. So I'm thinking it's gonna be kind of a shimmery pearlescent lip gloss. A lip pencil as well. I'm trying to tell, it says Perma Gel lip pencil. So this is gonna be more of like a gel formula, glide on, as opposed to like the pencil that you sharpen. So here we go. Very pretty. Price point, we are looking at $29. And again, you got some colors that have all sold out. Let's take a peek at, there are no swatches on these that I see. Mostly looking at pretty pinks and maybe like lavenders, you know, up in that range. So this is a very like pinky, lavendery, bronzy, mahogany type colors. Very beautiful. Okay, and then it looks like you just have some different options. You can choose duos, so you can get a couple of the bronzers, or you can do like the lip kit. You can do all of the bronzers, just the bronzers themselves, or you can do a little mix and match like the quads and bronzers and lip kit, or you can get the entire collection. So you can look at a couple of those different bundles on here, and then there's also brushes, I believe. Yeah, blush one is $39 and the powder brush is $60. Definitely pricey for brushes. I've never tried her brushes, so I don't know, I might have to. Anyway, okay, so that's kind of a look at the whole collection. I specifically was really trying to look at those bronzers. Definitely like, you know, matte bronzers, you know, powder bronzers. And I can't really speak to the formula, but if it's anything like the eyeshadow I tried, oh my goodness. And so I just wanted to look especially at the ranges. So let's go move on to MAC now and look at all of the ranges of their bronzers and compare the two. Okay, MAC bronzers that have just come out. This is supposed to be called their Skin Finish Sunstruck Matte Bronzer. It's supposed to be pretty waterproof, long lasting, and sweat proof. So we'll see. Hopefully it holds up for 24 hours, all of that jazz. And it's supposed to be a silky finish. I really like the silky finishes, so that sounds lovely. So it's matte but silky. Okay. Again, we can't really test that out by just looking at it though, so I can't give you my thoughts on that yet. So it looks like you get 10 to pick from. So you do have more variety than on Pat McGrath. They are definitely like matte powder, and definitely seeing a lot of warm tones again, which again, it's bronzers, so yes. But like I said, one thing I definitely look for is some slightly cooler toned options, things that can still work on pale ladies without turning them orange. So that first shade there, the lightest shade, is probably going to be your best bet. There's a couple in the middle there, those, you know, rosy shades that could be a little more on the cool tone that could work. I think you have a lot of options for deep skin, so that's great. Which, you know, I'm always torn. I like to see in general a lot of good options for deeper skin because I feel like those are the ones that tend to get left out a lot and have historically gotten left out a lot because they've been the minority. But on the other hand, I want to see a lot of options for the clients that I have, which, you know, I don't always have women of color. I mean, I have some, but I don't have that all the time. And so I want to see full shades in like every range. So I'm seeing more on the deep side, to be honest. I mean, it's not too bad. I think it's a pretty good range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up side by side Pat McGrath, those lighter shades with MAC shades. And I just want to compare them real quick. Hard to tell without having the swatches like this on the Pat McGrath. But they're looking fairly similar. They're almost maybe more options with the MAC. Um, but I'm seeing like one that's particularly more like cool tone to me on Pat McGrath. So it's hard to say. It's probably going to even out, to be honest with you, in that comparison. I'd love to do a physical side-by-side of them in person to tell. Now, what I'm really excited about too is the Rare Beauty. There's kind of a new collection she has. We're going to look at the whole collection, but we're going to specifically look at bronzers and compare. So first of all, you're going to get this new eyeshadow palette, Discovery eyeshadow palette. I've heard the mixed reviews on people don't seem to like the eyeshadows as much as the like cream blushes and, you know, bronzers and all of that. But I'd love to try it. It looks like a gorgeous palette. Here is a swatch. Really pretty. I love that. So again, kind of a similar theme, I feel like. This like mahogany bronzy look. And then you're also getting 3 new bronze shades, and you're getting 2 new blush shades. Here are the bronze, you know, the cream bronze swatches on different skin tones going on for you. And so the 3 new ones that are added, looks like the top, the middle, and the end. So it looks like they tried to add a little balance overall to just bring you more options. Bright Side, Good Energy, and On the Horizon are the new shades that are being added. Looks like Bright Side is your lightest shade. Again, these seem a little dark to me. Again, I don't see a lot of really pale tone people's colors in my opinion, but again, it's hard to know without it being in person. Her shades though are super pigmented. So it's like you only need like a teeny bit and you can almost lighten it by doing just a tiny bit. But these shade ranges, now one thing I'm noticing about these ranges is you are seeing a lot more like on the red side. So like I was talking about before, those red skin tints, you're really seeing some reds in here. Again, I'm not seeing a lot for the lighter shades, but it looks like good ranges for deep shades, and you even got a really deep couple of them in there too. So I don't know about it for cool though. So yeah, 8 shades in all, and these are cream ones, not, you know, they're in a stick as opposed to the powder matte ones. So very different application, very different overall. You know, just a teeny bit goes a long way. You want to do more like dots and really blend than those powder ones like you're seeing with Pat McGrath and MAC. And then you've also got the 2 blush shades. It looks like these are very like warm pinks, bright ones that she's added. So, and I just love it. Like, I want the whole range of blushes. Oh my gosh, her blushes are just wonderful. And there's a reason they've gone so viral and so trendy. Okay, now let's last look at Tarte. Always sold out on the lighter shades, like I said. So with this one, I'm looking specifically at their Shape Tape cream sculpts. So like their contour, their blush, their highlight right now. But we're especially going to look at the bronze so that we can, or contour, so that we can compare to the others. So on this one, it looks like you have 7 shades. And they make this so much easier to figure out your shade because they tell you cool tone, warm tone, mahogany, espresso, rich bronze. So you can kind of tell right there. Cool bronze or soft bronze are going to be your lightest ones, and they do have a lot more of a cool tone look to me. And then your warmer ones are going to be the warm bronze, the deep bronze, your red undertones, definitely that mahogany, maybe the rich bronzer, and then your really deep is going to be espresso. That's almost like black to me, and I'm not sure I have ever gone that dark on a client. That's very deep. So they have some very good stuff to choose from because there have been times when I have not had them deep enough. So I really like this system where they're giving you a good selection. Again, I hope that those cool tone ones are going to be light enough, but I think that they might be. So they have the least amount of options, but yet I feel like their range is more like what I'm looking for personally. So I am ready for these to stop being sold out, you guys. So a quick peek at their blush shades. They're kind of going with the same idea of the cream blush, kind of like Rare Beauty. This looks a little more shimmery to me from the look on the page though than Rare Beauty. Like Rare Beauty's is very pigmented, and I won't say it's like matte because it's creamy, but it doesn't seem to have this pearlescence in it from what I've seen and tried. And these are pretty light. Those are some very light shades of blushes. So honestly, like I probably wouldn't opt for the blushes personally unless you're looking for really light pink. And then I really want to try their highlighters. So let's just peek real quick at the highlighters. Those are the ones that just dropped. So these are like brand new as the highlight ones, whereas the blush and contour have been around for a little while now, but they're still so new that they're still selling out constantly, and I can never get a hold of them. So this one, the highlight also has 3 shades. We got a golden, a pearl, and a bronze. So I like that because it kind of, you have like more of a bronzy, you have almost like white, and then you have that like pinky shade too. I usually kind of like to have a little bit more of like I guess the golden glow would be more the gold, but it's almost a little too bronze for me. I'd love to have one more option in that, but I'm loving the look of it. So I really want to do the contour and the highlight, I think, and I'll just skip the blush. Okay, so now that we've gone through all the ones I had my eyes on, let's talk the battle. So for me personally, I think I tend to look at it from the standpoint of, my skin tone and also my clients' skin tones, which on average are usually closer to my skin tone. Not because I'm discriminatory, it's just what I don't know. I can't really control who comes to me, And so from the standpoint of like having enough lighter, cooler toned options, I am honestly like I don't know, y'all. And I also really love cream. I do. I love cream bronze. But do I work better with it? I don't know. Sometimes, if you mess up on cream, that's it. You're going to be spending a lot of time trying to blend that thing back in and not be so messed up. So sometimes I like working with powders better on clients, but I love working on creams better on me, if that makes sense. Because I'm usually in a hurry with clients, whereas with me, I can play and have fun. So I'd say for clients, I would probably look a little bit more at the MAC, to be honest with you. That would be this just your standard easy. The skin tones are kind of there. It's powder. It's your professional line. I feel like the MAC would probably be what I'd pick. But since I haven't tried the Pat McGrath formula, I might just be so in love with that. I might want that instead. I just don't know about enough of the shade ranges in it. And then for me personally, Tarte is my number one that I would want, I think, from the way that it looked on the ranges, and their highlight is what I want too. The Rare Beauty though, I want every range. I'd probably stay away from the contour ones. I'd like to try it, but that probably wouldn't be my first pick just because of the shade ranges. I just don't see that those were the ones I'm looking for. But definitely want like every one of the blushes. I would love just the whole collection of the blushes, and I've tried them and loved them, by the way, and I still want her highlight, and I'd love to try that eyeshadow. It looked great. The Pat McGrath looks, it's kind of more that I just want to try it for the formula to see. How did Pat McGrath end up as like my last choice? I don't know, because that was the one I was most excited about, guys. I think it's more the wanting to try it because of the formula, but when it came down to it, as far as the shades and what I'm looking for clients and for myself, some of these others hit different categories. But that may be completely different for what you're looking for and what you're thinking. So let me know what you think after seeing these comparisons. Which would be your top choice? What would you plunk your money down on? Are you going to pick any of these up? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know. Make sure if you enjoyed this video that you pop that subscribe button, because I love to do things like this all the time, beauty product reviews, unboxings, shopping hauls. I also like to do travel vlogs too, um, but a lot of beauty and makeup here. So anyway, if that interests you, make sure you pop the subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.